Now we're shifting gears a little bit. We talked about some of SHINee's history. Now we talked about Junghyun's story a little bit, okay? And this next video is the first video that SHINee did without Junghyun. And that is the extent of what I know. That's it. This song is called Good Evening. Now, and I don't even know if this has anything to do with any of that. I don't know. But maybe there'll be some type of symbolism or I don't know. The lyric, I have no idea. So let's just get it. Oh, yep.
포근한 어둠이 또 저 멀리 맴돌고 있잖니 조금씩 빌딩에 걸린 노을 끝자락에 널 떠올려 어둠을 찔러 이 밤을 열어 내가 더 먼저 널 만나고 싶은걸 지금 난 달빛 차올라 너무 늦기 전에 너를 데리러 가 깜짝 놀라 너를 생각하며 지금 데리러 가 다른 이유 하나 없이 데리러 가 이 밤을 앞질러 너를 데리러 가 혹시 넌 막연히 날 떠올릴까봐 지금 내가 내게로 가 혼자선 그리울 밤 견디기 싫어 지금 너를 데리러 가 점점 더 차오른 가쁜 숨이 너와 내 사이를 좁히지 보고 싶단 네 한마디가 내 맘을 조급하게 해 좀 더 속도를 높여 빛처럼 분명히 맺혀 빛나고 있어 숨가쁜 얘기들도 모두 다 난 한 걸음 더 다가갈수록 온 세상 모든 게 다 너로 변해가 난 먼저 알고 싶어 네 모든 순간 저 달빛보다 I can feel we're looking at each other through the storm Let's see your eyes, nose, lips, cheek 그저 저 하늘 위보다 더 멀리 맴돌더라도 구름에 내 맘 날려 휘황찬 달과 함께 비친 밤 달빛 너무 늦기 전에 너를 데리러 가 깜짝 놀라 너를 생각하며 지금 데리러 가 내게로 가 다른 이유 내게로 가 데리러 가 이 밤을 앞질러 너를 데리러 가 혹시 넌 막연히 날 떠올릴까봐 지금 내가 내게로 가 혼자선 그리울 밤 견디기 싫어 지금 너를 데리러 가 저기 멀리 보이는 내게 이 밤을 앞질러 내가 너를 데리러 가
Ooh, wow. Well, one of the early things I said was, I don't know if there's going to be anything in terms of symbolism or references. I'm going to make some stretches here, okay? I'm just going to take some guesses. I'm going to read the lyrics to this because I am curious. But before I get into the lyrics, I want to just kind of point out a couple things that stuck out to me as potentially important in this video. First of all, the opening frames are blue. Now, of course, because of the information that I have now, I'm going to pretty much confirmation bias all over this video. I might be wrong, I might be right, but if that's the context that I'm putting into this, I'm wondering how much lines up with the event that took place prior to this video. And honestly, I don't even know how much time passed. I have no idea, all right? But the beginning starts off blue. Blue, sadness, maybe, we'll see. The first references, even before this empty chair here, which is an extremely powerful statement, right here, we already have a stage, cameras everywhere, being watched, and then the TVs, and the guys are on the TV. So my first thought is, this has some level of commentary, potentially about the industry that may have had something to do with the prior event. Okay, only a few months later, really. Wow. Yeah, and the halo, I could see that. I wouldn't have put that together. I didn't, but that's pretty good. Wow. The spotlight, the blinding, it's too much.
포근한 어둠이 또 저 멀리 맴돌고 있잖니 조금씩 빌딩에 걸린 노을 끝자락에 너.
Yeah, and even this here, with them being inside this room, you know, it feels like a cage. I mean, like the body position of everybody, and especially here in front of the window, like this is a very closed up position. You're looking outside. It is the cage, but this whole feeling of like, it's literally right there. And it almost, you know, because everything is, I'll say glass. I don't know if they're actually closed in, but it looks like they have the world at their disposal, but they're actually in a bit of a cage. Got a bed, got some instruments, lights, cameras, TVs. That's your whole life. Glass walls. Yeah, like they're on display. And, you know, maybe this is a bit of a stretch here, but even them being in the bed and showing up on the TV as it pans, right? Because you can see the comforter, you can see the stuff showing up on the TVs below. Is kind of like, we don't have any privacy. Our whole life is on these screens, and it comes with a cost, is how I'm putting this together right now. Now, is this a reference to Jong-hyun? He loved the Little Prince. Yes. He was the fox. Okay. Wow. Now, foxes mean something culturally, don't they? Because I know we've talked about this before. So much privacy invasion at that time. People were streaming the service. Wow, that's terrible. The fox is on their album cover too. Okay. Huh. Interesting. All right. This is a stretch, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the background dancers having these shirts and being included like this, again, this is a stretch, But I have to wonder if those shirts and patterns aren't also subtextually saying, like, being representative of like jail, like prison, you know, like there is bars almost. That is a stretch though. Yeah. Can you remind me, please, without being offended, who is this that has the shaved head now? This is Key. Okay. And I'm assuming time frame wise, Key cut his hair after things happened. He's so angry in this video. He cried a lot. Yeah. It hit Key really hard. Yeah, and so the reason I asked this is because, like, you know, people deal with grief in all kinds of different ways. So I wondered if that's what it was, or if it was like Claire says, which is it was for an acting role. And it could be both, really. We have no idea. But even similarly for me, when I lost my dad, like that was something completely out of left field that I started doing. Once my dad passed away, I grew my hair out, I grew my beard out, and it was just, it somehow became this representation of all the grief that I was carrying. That's what it meant to me. I didn't do that like deliberately. It just kind of happened with my emotions. They manifested themselves in this whole different way, you know. And for Key, maybe it was for an acting role. Maybe it was also because of his grief, because he wanted to get rid of, I have no idea. Could have been both. I don't know. Cindy says Key was angry that no one would talk about it. Yeah. Interesting. Wait a second. I think it's interesting that the chairs are configured this way. Have you noticed this? So that I was gonna say, I thought the chairs all faced different directions, but these two on the left face each other, and these two face forward and then one back. I wonder why that is. Musical chairs? Maybe. See, it's hard to tell if I'm, and I don't know if this is the right term or not. It's hard to tell if I'm projecting this, but it really does feel like their faces are kind of expressionless. You know? I mean, Minnow feels like he's, for lack of a better term, he's holding it together better. Like it's like he kind of has an air of strength that he's trying to display, but you can really, I feel like you can feel the weight. Yeah. Oh, going through the motions 100%. Yeah. See, I think this, if you look at the choreo, and sometimes I get into the choreo of videos, sometimes I don't, but when it sticks out to me, I think that that's generally notable. And one thing I notice about the choreo here is that there's this repeated movement of this drop. It's like a sinking. And then we see that kind of confirmed in the later shots of them under the water, sinking or drowning. So I think choreo-wise, this is a really, really clever thing that they did. This is pretty damn powerful to me. So I do have a question here. There are orange peels and half-eaten oranges, half-peeled oranges everywhere. What does that mean? And while you start typing, I'll also say that this shot is pretty powerful from the standpoint of I mean, and maybe this isn't what it means, but it feels like suffocation. It feels like the four of them struggling, suffocation, but guess what? You still get to watch it happen. All the clear plastic, the whole thing, like this weird, morbid, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's strange.
Through the storm, let's see your eyes, nose, lips, cheek.
See, back to the blue, back to the drowning. But there is something that I think is interesting coming up here. Again, it might be a stretch. Watch. Without showing the surface of the water here in these shots and this movement, this began to feel like rebirth to me. Earlier, we had the choreo that to me kind of spoke about drowning. And then we saw them into the water, and you see the vast expanse, right? But here, this started to feel like rebirth in a way. And as the video progresses, there becomes this more open, natural feeling that in a way to me feels like freedom. Okay? Like they're outside now. They're not in the cage anymore. There is this potential feeling of freedom, which could be that their friend is at peace now. It could be that there is hope that they will experience some level of freedom moving forward in terms of whether it's in terms of grief, whether it's in terms of the industry understanding what the hell's going on and potentially making changes. I don't know. These are all stretches, but yeah, it feels like there's something really significant happening in this part of the video. that was interesting. Now, again, everything that I say and all these theories that I'm pushing out and, you know, it's pure conjecture. It is literally just theories. I have no idea. And the truth is, most people probably don't, like, except for the artists themselves, on what actually meant what in all those things. And we can guess and we can theorize, but I also remind people that there is kind of, an expectation of us that once art is released, it's up to our interpretation. So even if my interpretation is completely off, completely out of left field, and none of it was correct, I still think there is something important to how we receive things. Potentially a message that I should learn, that you should learn, that you should hear, that I should be reminded of. I think art has a way, a really, really interesting way of doing that. And I think that's important that we do. Which is why I get so freaking angry at people that are like, no, this is what it meant. And that might be true. This is what it meant by the author. I get that. But this is what I took away from it. It's a little different. And you can't take that from me.